Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio, our continuing Career College Exposition webinar series. My name is Lee Doubleday and I'm the Director of Operations here at the Imagine America Foundation, and we're excited to have you today. I'm excited about today's topic, STEM careers in the transportation industry with Universal Technical Institute, or UTI. UTI is this country's leading provider of high-quality, career-focused education at 12 locations nationwide. UTI is also a 20-year sponsor of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award programs, having provided admissions-based financial aid to more than 15,000 enrolling Imagine America students. Without taking valuable time from our presenter, let me refer any and all inquiries about the Imagine America Foundation, how your students can apply for one of our scholarships to attend Universal Technical Institute, to our website, which is www.imagine-america.org. Since our beginning in 1999, Imagine America remains a leading sponsor of scholarship aid to enrolling high school students. However, our country faces a serious shortage in certified technicians. We hear from employers in virtually all sections of the country, desperately looking for qualified employees, so we need to do more. Our partner in today's presentation is Universal Technical Institute, and joining us today to discuss in detail the looming technician shortage and how UTI is helping meet this need is Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle is a nationally recognized expert in this area with an extensive K-12 background. But before turning the program over to Dr. Coyle, let me outline today's agenda. Today's session of Imagine America Radio will be 30 minutes maximum, with question and answers at the end of the presentation. All participants can submit questions while the presentation is in session via the Q&A feature or the chat feature in this Zoom meeting. So if you have a question at any time during the presentation, please feel free to type it in and we'll get to it at the end. At the end of the presentation, or approximately 2:25 p.m., I'll then present any questions offered by the participants and we'll address as many as possible and provide written responses and follow-up emails if necessary. We'll have a hard close at 2:30 p.m. So without taking any more time out of today's presentation, let me turn today's session over to Dr. Coyle. Dr. Coyle, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Lee. Appreciate it. And thank all of you for joining us today. I'll just jump right into it. Our agenda is threefold. We'll start off with challenges facing the workforce. We'll move into opportunities in the transportation industry, and then we will close with Universal Technical Institute's career pathways. I'd like to start with the changing workforce because it's changed dramatically from the 20th century to the 21st century. As you can see, in the 20th century, we were very much an agricultural manufacturing economy with service mixed in as well. Quite a change in the 21st century as we've moved to almost totally service-oriented economy. That shouldn't be a surprise to you if you own a house, a car, a washing machine, whatever. You know how difficult it is to get someone to work on something, let alone someone who is qualified or certified in some way. Very difficult. So it's no wonder service has become a priority in this century. You also might look at agriculture and say, wow, what's going on here? We starving to death? We went from 41% to 2%. Well, quite the contrary. We're actually feeding more people with the 2% than we are with the 41%. You might ask, how is that happening? Through technology. But with technology goes the service. We have to have technicians to serve that technology. A recent survey was done of 150,000 students from grades 6 through 12, and they were asked, how many of you would like a skilled trades career? And you can see about 3% said, yeah, this is what I want to do. This sounds good to me. The same group of kids then was asked how many would like a STEM career. Over 45% jumped at that one, said this is what I want to do. And there lies the disconnect. Students don't see the connection between skilled trades and STEM. Unfortunately, we have educators that also don't see that connection. They tend to think of STEM as white collar rather than blue collar. I like to say it's all collar. I don't care what color the collar is. STEM is all around us. It permeates our economy. It permeates our workforce today. STEM career growth has grown massively in the last few years and will continue to grow in the next few years. It's predicted that STEM jobs will grow by just over 13%. I personally think that's a low estimate. I think that we'll see even more growth than that. All other jobs will grow about 9%. But the significant difference is in earning potential. If you break it down by hour, A non-STEM career, you're looking at just over $19 an hour. Not bad, but when you look at a STEM career, you're at almost $39 an hour. Huge difference. Then you can take that another step and look at on a yearly basis. STEM making just over $38,000 a year. Non-STEM, almost $87,000 a year. Significant. And then when you look at that over the course of a career, whether that's 15, 20, 25, 30 years, maybe 35 years, you can see there's a significant difference in earning potential. Now, I do want to point out here that there are good paying non-STEM careers too out there. The point here is that statistics prove that more of the better paying careers are STEM related. Just over 20% of the jobs in this country today require a bachelor's degree for entry. The more startling statistic is that almost half of those college grads aren't even using the degree that they picked up. They either went into a job where it wasn't needed, or they're just not using it. And that's kind of sad when you think in terms of the time, the energy, the money that they invested into this bachelor's degree, only to find out they didn't need it. That's why it's so important for us to have career readiness and career pathways in our schools today, so that we can avoid that waste. You know, it's I'm not discounting a bachelor's degree. You know, it's good to have it, but you know, the important thing is, are you using it? If you're not, then why have it? I speak to educators often about the old smart versus the new smart. And, you know, the question comes up, well, what is old smart? You know, what is the old way of thinking? Very simple. You know, get to the best school that you can, the best college you can find. That's where you want to be. And then when you get there, figure out what it is that you want to do. You might laugh at that and say, what do you mean? You know, don't people know what they want to major in? Well, they think they do. Then they get there and they change their mind. Personally, I changed my major 3 times. You know, you may have done the same thing. So then once we land upon a degree, then we earn that degree. We walk out the front door and we say, here I am, world, hire me, ready to go. Well, it just doesn't work anymore like that. It's just not efficient. And you might even look at that and say, that is so ridiculous, Steve. Nobody does that anymore. Nobody thinks like that anymore. Well, I would refer you to the recent admissions scandal that occurred, where parents were trying to get their sons and daughters into prestigious schools like Stanford and USC. And they were willing to pay thousands of dollars to make that happen and falsify documents. All they got out of it was jail time and fines. And what's really sad is that in many instances, the students didn't even want to go to school in the first place. So we move to the new smart. The biggest difference between old smart and new smart is the student. We want to find out, you know, like we ask every little kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? We need to be asking students that very question. What do you want to be? What do you want to do? What are you good at? We need to recognize those, and then we need to build on it. We need to find out, okay, you're good at this. So what kind of a program do you need? Do you need a bachelor's degree? Do you need an associate's degree? Or maybe you just need internship or competency-based credentials or skills. That might be all that you need. So we need to recognize that. So then we can guide them to the proper school that they need. You know, do they need to go to UNC or North Carolina State if they want to be a welder? Maybe not. You know, maybe they need to go to a different type of school. The rule of 127, pretty simple. For every 10 careers that are out there today, only 1 requires an advanced degree, meaning a master's degree or higher. 2 out of the 10 require a bachelor's degree. 7 of the 10 careers today, right now, only require competency-based credentials or an associate's degree. 7 out of 10. Yet, we are pushing students into colleges and universities at almost a 70% clip. What we're doing is exactly the opposite of what the economy is dictating to us. The economy is saying, hey, we need these competency-based credentials. We need these skills. And that's why we need to listen to what the economy is trying to tell us to close this skills gap. I educate educators. It's what I do all over the country. But you as educators, you're educating parents and students. I know parents are tough because they're part of that old smart. They want their son or daughter to go to college. The only stipulation is they want it close to home and they want it free. That's their criteria. You know, we have to help parents and students understand that skilled trades and STEM are one and the same. They do go hand in hand. There are great careers that are STEM careers in the skilled trades. They're out there. We also have to dispel the myth of university for all. Not every student wants or needs to go to college. I'm not putting down college. It's great for the right student, but we have to pay attention to what the students' needs are. And then finally, we need to look at what employers are looking for. They're looking for competency-based credentials. What do you bring to the table? What can you offer? That's what they're looking for. Okay, the second part of our agenda today is opportunities in the transportation industry. I don't care if we're talking about a car, a truck, a boat, an ATV, a motorcycle, doesn't matter. They're all rolling or floating computers. That's what they are today. We know that. If you have a new car, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We look at this technology and say, wow, this is so cool that we have all this technology at our fingertips, that the car will, semi-autonomous, so it'll drive itself, or all these kind of things. When I look at this technology, I look at safety. How many lives has it saved? Give you a great example. You've all heard horror stories of somebody that backed over a child, sometimes their own child, because they didn't see him behind them. Now we have backup cameras, so that's virtually eliminated. Or the blind spot indicators. We've all been honked at for trying to pull over in the lane. There's a car there. It's like, where'd they come from? What happened? With the blind spot indicators now, we have sensors around our car that tells us what's going on around our car. So if we can't see it, we still know something is there. And so we make the proper decisions. And I can go on and on about all these safety features that are on these vehicles today. But the problem is, who's going to work on this stuff? It takes a lot of high tech. The number one tool that a technician is going to use today is not a crescent wrench. It's not a socket wrench. It's a laptop. They have to diagnose the problem. It's very much the way the medical industry is too. So we have to think about this. And this is why the skilled trades gap is becoming so important to us. It even spills over into farmers. They don't want the new equipment because they're worried that they can't work on it, or that they can't find people to work on it. So they want to buy the older equipment. So that's why we need the technicians. There are more vehicles on the road today than ever before. Over 1.3 billion in the world today. 273 million of those right here in the United States. By 2028, it is predicted there will be 1.1 million technician job openings. 1.1 million plus. So there is great career opportunities there for young men and young women to get into the transportation industry. And then finally, the third part of our agenda today is Universal Technical Institute's career pathways. So who is UTI? Well, as Lee told you at the beginning, we're the leading provider of technicians in the transportation industry. We have 12 campuses nationwide. We place over 4 out of 5 of our graduates into their chosen field. And notice the word chosen that I picked there. That's very important because we want students to go into what they want to go into, what they're interested in, what they're good at. Just placing them in a job at McDonald's doesn't count. We want to make sure they're in the industry. And then we have over 220,000 graduates in our now 56-year history. So a lot of graduates out there as we work to try to close the skills trade gap as much as we can. Our training programs, we have 8 different programs that we train in: auto, diesel, collision, motorcycle, marine, NASCAR, CNC, and welding. You can't just come to UTI. You have to be invited. And how does that happen? Through a personal interview with a representative and the student and their family. We won't just interview a student. We want the family there as well, because they're going to need that support there. And so we talk to students about what they want to be when they grow up. What are they good at? What do they love to do? That's what we talk about in this interview. Try to find out if we're a good fit for them and if they're a good fit for us. The other thing that's interesting is you see 8 disciplines here, but you have to remember there are hundreds of others within these 8. Maybe a student, they love cars, but they really don't want to turn wrenches. They don't want to actually work on it, but they want to be around them. What could they do? They could be a service writer. That's the person you see when you first go into the dealership and you take your car and say, hey, it's making this banging sound. So they're helping to get it placed with the right technician so it can get repaired. So there's an option. Or they could go into the claims adjuster in the insurance industry. Insurance companies love our graduates because, when you hit a deer, you see all the outside problems, but what you don't see is all the internal problems that have happened with all the sensors that I just talked about previously. And so a trained technician would know what to look for. So there would be a couple of options right there for careers. We're very much industry aligned technology. We align with industry. That's what we strive to do. Before the pandemic even happened, we adopted this philosophy of online classroom and hands-on. That's important to blend the two. When a student goes to work, when one of our graduates goes to work in the industry, goes into a dealership, this is what they're going to face, because dealerships can no longer afford to send their technicians off for training. They're short on technicians as it is. And then the expense of sending them off for a week or two, maybe 3 weeks, just can't do it any longer. So they do it online. That's why we prepare our students so that when they step into the industry, they already know what to expect. And then our education model is pretty simple. We do competency-based credentials. We do one course at a time for 3 solid weeks. That's all they do. We immerse them in it so that when they come out, they have the credentials necessary then to move on to the next class and the next class and the next class. And that's how we build our technicians from the ground up. Now, obviously, with the pandemic, that changed a lot of things. To become CDC compliant, we had to change our approach, our business model a little bit. For instance, we have assigned doors for students to enter and leave. We do a temperature check if everybody comes into our buildings. We require face coverings. We had to reduce lab sizes to meet the CDC requirements of the social distancing and the 6-foot separation. Washing of hands, cleaning and disinfecting constantly, and then offering phone support for those students and their parents that still didn't feel safe enough coming into campus, but have questions or concern that they need answered. Of course, we've also had to adapt to the fact that not all schools are open right now, but there's we love to do the in-person presentations, but we had to adapt to the virtual presentations, and we offer these. We use Microsoft Teams, we can use Zoom, we can use your preferred platform if you have something different, but we're an essential industry. Just because the pandemic happened, we didn't shut down. We had to keep moving because the need for technicians is greater than ever before. And so we've come up with this buffet of opportunities that we offer, and they're all complimentary to help you with your students. And you can see on the right some of the slides that we show, some that you've seen today, and then some that you haven't. But we want to expose students to career opportunities because the world goes on. Even with the pandemic, it has to go on. UTI has a national presence. You'd be hard pressed to walk into a dealership and they wouldn't know who UTI is. But more importantly, national presence comes in handy for career placement. You go to school at our Mooresville campus, and you decide that you want to work in Florida. You'd have that opportunity because we're there. Or we're in Arizona, we're in Texas, we're in California, we're all over the country. And so it gives students a better chance of landing into the career that they're looking for. The industry partnerships are huge. These are the big dogs of the industry. As I often say, we're not preparing students to go to work for Jiffy Lube. We're preparing students to go to work for BMW, for Ford, for GM, for Alfa Romeo, all these companies, because these are great career opportunities for our students. They provide stability, and they're well-paying positions too. One of the things that we're really excited about is our TRIP employer packages that we have. We have over 4,500 of these called tuition reimbursement incentive programs. And what I decided to do for this round of seminars or webinars that we're doing is I wanted to show you a couple of examples of what these TRIP packages look like. So we'll start first with the Hendrick Advantage. This company They have 100 dealers representing 29 different brands. They're currently operating in 13 different states. They have over 10,000 employees. So what is the package? Well, they're going to pay a technician $300 a month on top of their salary that they can use towards their student loan payments if that's what they want to use it for. They give them a tool voucher, $200 a month for 10 months. There's $2,000. They provide relocations available on a case-by-case basis. As I heard one service manager say, we're not going to lose that great prospect over a couple $1,000s. We're willing to invest in them. ASC reimbursement and paid factory training, and then comprehensive benefits package are all provided through Hendrick. Another great one is the PENSKE Auto Group. The PENSKE company, over 150 US locations, over 40 world-class brands, a Fortune 500 company. The package, tuition reimbursement, $420 a month for 48 months. That's a lot of money to put towards student loans. That's amazing. A tool program, $2,000 reimbursement, and then a tenure bonus. If they'll stay with them for up to for 4 years, then they'll pay them $3,000 on top of what they normally make. So they're willing to invest into good students, and this makes our education very affordable for students. One of the things that we like to do is we like to kind of show off our graduates. We like to bring them to events, and this provides them, our future students, an opportunity to pick their brains, ask them the good, the bad, the ugly about going into the industry and what to expect. And so we try to include them as often as possible because obviously students are more willing to listen to their peers. There's many ways to fund your education. We are Title IV funded, so therefore we do require the FAFSA to see if you qualify for financial aid. We have over $15 million in sponsored scholarships. We have housing grants. We have institutional grants. Of course, the TRIP employers I just told you about, and we have third-party programs as well. Just to give you an example, back to the TRIP employers, right now we have over 4,700 participating employers. Average TRIP package is it's almost $14,000. The average tool package is almost $3,000. The average relocation is almost $2,000. Average sign-on bonus over $3,000. Average retention bonus over $4,000. So you can see the TRIP program provides a great opportunity for our students to get their education paid for. I'm a retired educator. I know what you guys do on a daily basis, although this year I have to admit, I don't have a clue because of the pandemic. But one of the things that we really try to do is we try to partner with counselors any way we possibly can. We want to offer ways to help you with this. And so that's why we offer, as I mentioned earlier, our buffet of opportunities, our workshops, our virtual tours, lesson plans, things that we can offer you to help you a little bit. And, just a partner to help you to be able to get through this school year, and then hopefully maybe next year we can get back somewhat to normal again. We invite you to follow us online. We're on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, and of course our website is uti.edu. One of the questions that I get often is, hey, Steve, what about parents? I get what you're saying. You're preaching to the choir, but parents they're a tough nut to crack. What can I do about parents? Well, I've listed 5 things here that I think can help you. First of all, promote your STEM programs. I'm amazed at the number of educators that walk up to me and say, hey, what are you doing with STEM? Oh, we're not doing a lot. But then after I talk to them for 5 or 10 minutes, find out they are doing a lot. They're just not promoting it. So promote those and promote that to your parents, and combine that with an open house for parents, middle school students. Have a STEM activity that they can participate in. Don't just have them come and walk around, look at stuff. Have them participate. We have counselors when they come to our campuses. We have them participate like in our welding simulators. Oh my gosh, they have a ball with it, and some of them score very well. So get them involved. And involve industry in where you live, because they want to help you. They've got the resources. They're going to need employees, so they're willing to invest time and money into your programs. Career Pathways Exploration Days. You notice I didn't say college fairs. All right, get rid of that title, college fairs, because when you say college, they only think of, North Carolina State, those kind of schools. They're not going to think of other types of post-secondary opportunities. So make it a career pathways exploration day. Call it something, that includes all of your students. And then finally, celebrate the successes of all of your students. Parents love that. They want to see their kids recognized. Just don't recognize the kids that got the full ride football scholarships. Recognize the ones that are in other activities and organizations too. And when you do that, then you will see more participation with your parents. And then finally, this is my contact information. Please reach out to me either by phone or through email. I'd love to hear from you, your comments. If you have any questions, if there's anything I can do to help you to make some of this happen for you, please reach out to me. Thank you so much for spending part of your afternoon with me, and good luck with the rest of your school year.
Awesome. Thanks, Dr. Coyle. Appreciate it. I am actually going to throw up a poll question here. If you would like us to send you an email with more information about upcoming events for your seniors, whether that's Universal Technical Institute, presenting to your classroom, either virtually or any other upcoming events that they may have, please indicate so on the poll so that we know who to send an email to. We are now going to open this up for the Q&A portion. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in to the Q&A feature in this Zoom meeting. It does look like we got a question here, Dr. Coyle. This person wants to know about GPA requirements. Are there GPA or SAT score requirements in order to attend UTI?
Well, obviously, we want students to do the best they possibly can in school, but we do not have requirements for GPA or for SAT or ACT scores. Where that interview that I talked about, that's how we find out more about the student. We want to find out about their attendance, their work ethic. Those are the kind of things we're looking for, because we're looking for what employers are looking for.
I got you. Okay. And second question, this person wants to know about housing. Let's say, they have students that live in South Carolina, and I know that the nearest campus to them is in Mooresville, North Carolina. Is housing something that's offered at the NASCAR Technical Institute?
Yes, it is. We do not have dormitories. They're actually leased apartments. And we help the students to get, set up with roommates if they need that help, unless they're maybe coming with a friend already. And I also like to point out that we offer housing grants to help students with the housing costs as well too. So yeah, we could definitely take care of your housing needs.
All right, great. Okay, just a few house cleaning items here. We are going to be recording this session. I'll send you the recording of this session likely tomorrow morning. It will also be placed on our website, which again is www.imagine-america.org. There is a quick follow-up survey when you leave this Zoom meeting. It's about 4 questions. If you wouldn't mind answering that for us, it really helps us get some feedback on how we did today, and was there anything maybe that we missed or that you wanted to know more about that we didn't talk about. Any feedback is appreciated. But before closing, I just want to thank our participants for taking time out of their very busy schedules to join us today. I'd also like to thank Dr. Coyle for sharing with us today's presentation, and encourage each and every one of you to contact him directly with any future questions. I will include his contact email in the email with the recording that I'm going to be sending you tomorrow. On behalf of the Imagine America Foundation, Dr. Coyle, and myself, I want to thank you for joining us, and goodbye.